Are you a lifelong fan of General Hospital?
Are you a new fan who wants to know more about the history of the show?
Do you enjoy talking about the show with others?
Do you find yourself yelling at the TV?
Is your self-care an hour a day in Port Charles?
If so, we invite you to join hosts
Amanda Kimmel
and Shannon Coach at the place where all the hidden conversations take place and secrets are revealed.
Meet us at Pier 54,
a General Hospital fan podcast.
Hello!
Hi!
Welcome to part 2 of our conversation with Darin Toonder. Again, recording this before editing, so I have no idea where we're picking up.
You're going to have a fun time with that because the conversation just flowed so easy.
It did. I don't know where I'm going to break it up at.
Maybe, I'm sure it's not on the exact same timeline, but maybe there's like a more GH part and then more just like everything else part.
Maybe that's kind of where I was going.
I hope for you.
I'll figure it out. But enjoy the rest of our chat with Darin.
Well, how long have you ladies been, maybe you said it, how long have you guys been watching the show?
So for me, it was my mom watched it. Her friend's mom watched it. So we've been off and on since I remember watching it, like coming home from kindergarten, first grade or whatever.
Oh, yeah?
But faithfully watching it, I would say probably during my teenage years. So like 92, 93 up to 98, like all the time. And then I took a break for a while. And then I probably came back around 2005, 2006. And then I've been watching it since then.
And I would say like the mid 90s is when I started being involved with it, like caring about what happens.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And making sure that the VCR was set up to be able to record it. DVR has done a wonderful thing so SoapNet was way ahead of its time. I wish that SoapNet was able to come back now because I feel like it would have a chance now.
Yeah.
But like same thing. So we're both moms. So I feel like we both kind of took breaks, and it's when we didn't have DVRs. We didn't have, stuff to be able to watch it. But now, all the different options are making it much easier to stay a fan. So definitely over 30 years for both of us.
Yeah.
Wow. And I know, that's the thing is like shows like this, it just takes a few shows to get you hooked.
Mm-hmm.
Because I remember in college, there was a show that like my girlfriend and her girlfriend, she lived with two other girls. And I remember it was kind of like, it was a primetime soap opera. Again, it's not on anymore, so I think I can say the show, but I'm not, just in case. But and this was back in like the 90s, early 90s.
Okay.
And it was a primetime soap. And I remember I'd be like, I can't believe you guys are watching this. Really? By the time this was it was in reruns now, so it was on at lunchtime. And so whenever they had.
Was it all numbers?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So yes. Is it bigger than a bread box? You know what I mean? And yes, it was all numbers. Yes. And so we were watching that. This makes it even more fun than if I could say the show, right?
Right.
So it's fun. It's all fun. Guess the show I'm talking about. And I remember I'd just be like, oh man, I can't believe you guys are watching this. But then after, I think the third or fourth day, I'm the one sitting by the couch and go, come on, hurry up and start it. Get in here. Because I didn't want to miss anything, right? Because you get hooked on it. You get hooked on it. I think my parents are getting, like my dad and his wife are getting hooked on it now too, because they know all the storylines and they're talking to me about it. So I'm like, I think once you start watching, you get hooked. Get hooked.
That's what happened with my papa. He had back surgery, and my Grammy was a faithful watcher. And
loved his stories. She loved his stories.
He got into it. And then when he went back to work, she was not allowed to watch it on the VHS until he got home. But then they watched it together. And I was like, oh,
that's very cute. I love it now because I have 3 daughters, and the 2 older ones, they don't want anything to do with it. They're like over it. But my 10-year-old will watch just like in passing, like she's on her phone or she's doing whatever, but she's just sitting next to me. And the other day it was a scene with when Curtis came home and Trina was there, and she instantly was like, so that's Trina's dad, right? Blah, blah. And I was like, start getting it, even though you're not actually watching it. Like, you're my favorite now.
Yeah, listen, you took the words right out of my mouth. Like, just to let you know, you're my favorite. I'm telling you about this. You're my favorite.
I'm leaving everything to you. It's
Exactly.
Both of her fiance and my husband, like they pick up on the stuff, and my husband will come in and like, do you know that there's a lot of actors that have been like 2 or 3 characters on the show?
Yeah, I've heard about that. Yeah.
So my husband will pop his head in and he's like, is he a cop today? Is he a doctor? Or is he a vampire? And that's Michael Easton was he was a vampire, cop, priest, doctor.
Mm-hmm. That's fantastic.
Yes. And he's like, which one is he today? And then you've said that like Ryan will pick up on stuff too. And he's like,
yeah, he'll argue with me. And I'm like, you don't even know what you're talking about. I've watched this 100 years. Shut up.
Well, what does that feel like? Because you said you watched it with your mom, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what does that feel like that here you were watching it with your mom growing up and now you're with your youngest watching it with her? What does that feel like?
It's awesome. It's really awesome. And it's fun even now. Luckily my mom's still alive. And so I'll say to her like, oh, just so you know, they're bringing so-and-so back. And she'll be like, oh, really? And we'll talk about stuff that happened. Or like now that they're doing some of the crossovers, she had watched All My Children and One Life to Live and then General Hospital. So now that they have Blair's character on General Hospital, she's like, oh yeah, remember the One Life to Live stuff and whatever. So it's neat. And that's why I hope that, I'd hope that my older girls would get into it, but they have not yet. But it's nice to have that, like, it's a family. It's not a family show, but it's a family connection.
Yeah.
But it is, because it's always fun to hear them say that's not what it was like back then, or, they share. So we also do talk with other fans. Right. And I think one of the sweetest ones that we found out that one of the women that we did talk with passed away, and her daughter loves re-listening to our episode because she's like, I get to listen to my mom talk about one of her favorite things.
Oh,
and
that's great.
And she just, because she wrote in for her mom and she's like, I think my mom would really like to talk to you, but she was older. So, it's still, when I got that email, that was heartbreaking, that happened. But every now and again, she'll send us a little message and she's like, I just love hearing her like laugh about it and talk about it. And I won't cry about it right now. But like my gram passed away right before Luke left. And I connect those two things. And it kills me because I'm just like, no, that was like the last thing that she and I were talking about was we knew that he was leaving. And so, it's, there's always the rumors, could he pop in? And I'm like, no, I can't handle him coming back because I've already made peace with that. It's going to happen. He'll be back one day and I'm going to have to deal with it. But, you tie it to different things in your life that, I'm pretty sure we can both mark like when we had our kids by what storylines were happening or why we didn't watch certain times. We'll do character histories and we'll look at the dates and we're like, I don't think I was watching then. And we're like, oh yeah, 2004, I was having a baby. That's why, and it's just, I was paying attention to something else then. And, we didn't have the technology and, maybe I forgot to set the VCR or whatever. So yeah, it's fun.
That's great. And have you guys ever had the thing where you get all 3 generations sitting there watching an episode? Have you ever had that moment?
No, we have not watched it because my mom doesn't really watch it anymore. So the 3 of us have not watched it, but we should. It's funny. We have a General Hospital board game that was made like in the 80s, 90s. And so all the character references are to stuff that we don't really remember because we were too young or we weren't watching then. And I always say like, we need to play this with my mom because she'll be like, oh yeah, I know this, and this. So she doesn't know the today's storylines.
Yeah.
So.
Who gets mom on their team this time? With all those older ones.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. That's what. Yeah, you still won though?
I did win, but like I said, I'm a few years older, so I watched a little bit longer.
Yeah. I never heard that there was a General Hospital board game. That's fantastic.
Oh, there's so much.
It was from the 80s.
Yeah, in the 80s and 90s, there was books and card games and board game and a whole bunch of different stuff. Trivia questions.
I made a Guess Who board game.
Yes, she made a Guess Who board game for me.
You created your own General Hospital board game?
Yes.
I bought the game Guess Who and then cut out and laminated like the little character things and and we played Guess Who as one of our episodes.
Yeah.
We recorded us just playing Guess Who.
That is a fan right there. I took a game that already existed and made it better.
Yes.
That's fantastic. Have you played that? Like, do you have a bunch of General Hospital fans like around you? Like, do you play that with them, or do you have like a
we keep talking about needing to do that, but we have not yet.
COVID threw a lot of plans, like many, but we've talked about trying to figure out how to play it virtually too. Guess Who probably wouldn't be so easy, but maybe the board game might be possible.
Yeah.
Maybe, yeah. But you don't have anybody in town, though, that you could, like, hey, we're doing a General Hospital game night every quarter.
So we just had dinner with a fan who was in from Ohio a couple weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's two actors, Steve Burton and Bradford Anderson, that they actually have like a traveling comedy show that they do. And we've gone to see it a couple times. And the last time we went to see it, we did meet up with two people that listen to our show and are also fans of the show. So like the four of us sat at a table together, and that was nice. And we've talked to a couple people in Pittsburgh, but like we haven't really
had to put out
gotten together.
Like a call. Who wants to meet here at this time to play the game?
Yeah. I would just want to see how your game fares with the fans.
That's true. I'd have to make multiple boards. We could have like a bracket.
Yeah, dude, like
we're gonna end up redesigning it for today's time.
Who's in the Sweet 16? Who's in the Elite 8? Who makes the Final Four? Exactly.
I don't know what the prize is yet. I like it.
And maybe you could have different brackets or like different, parts of Port Charles. Where it's like you have the Pier bracket, you have the Ferncliff bracket, you have the General Hospital bracket.
There you go.
You have all the different brackets of all the different places.
Yes.
So which bracket are you in?
And you win and you get the Quartermain Mansion.
Exactly.
There you
go.
There we go.
Exactly.
Oh, I like
it. Sounds like a plan. So how many actors have you been able to interview?
You know the stats better than I do.
A bunch. I think it's been
I don't want to brag, but a bench.
I think it's been at least 13 or 14.
That's great.
I think. Some are more difficult to get in touch with because PR and all that. Kathleen Gotti, we were at the fan event and we ran into her in the ladies' room, and she was just like, hey, let's talk sometime, and so we did. Sean Kanan was AJ Quartermain, and it was Steelers Sunday.
Fantastic name. What a fantastic
AJ Quartermain.
AJ Quartermain.
But he had written a book called Success Factor X, and he was doing like a book tour, and he was in Pittsburgh. It was a Sunday afternoon. It was a Steelers Sunday, and Barnes & Noble was dead. And I went up with my copy of the book and like had him sign it, and I got to talk to him for like a half hour by myself. And he agreed to do the show. And so like we talked to him. We've been able to connect with people in some really interesting ways. And some of it has just been, just taking a shot in the dark and shooting someone a message on Instagram being like, hi, will you talk to us?
That's great. Well, I'm glad you guys, that takes some courage to just reach out to someone like that. So good on you. And the fact that you just seem like you're having these great moments where you get to bump into someone. I just see you bump into someone in the bathroom and you go, hey, would you mind doing a podcast? Right here, right now? No, not right here, right now. But
to be fair, we had already done our walk around where we have a picture of our logo and we had them all sign it. And so we did get a chance to, so she already knew a little bit before we were in the restroom together. It just happened to be that we were washing, or you were washing your hands next to her. And I'm standing there like, oh my God.
Oblivious. Like, oh, you need a towel. Oh.
Wait, so who has been the person, what star have you met, both of you met, that has made you the most starstruck?
Mine's easy. Mine was from back in the 90s. I was obsessed with the Karen and Jagger storyline. So the one year for my birthday, she was able to reach out and ask Carrie Shane if she would do an interview with us. And it was the best because I was such a fan, but it was my worst interview ever. Like, I won't listen to it because just everything that she said, I was like, yeah, great. Like, it's awful. She must think I'm the biggest idiot in the world, but I could not get past that character love.
It's good.
I hope so. I can't listen to it because I'm telling you, I just know that everything that she said, I was like, okay.
You're just gushing the whole time.
Oh, yeah. So
that's fantastic.
But it was a fun, great interview to get to talk to her. It was a surprised she had booked it like weeks in advance and then finally told me right before my birthday, trying to save me from all that fangirling. But no.
I was not going to tell her until we were recording, and then I decided to be nice.
It would have been horrible. If it was that bad knowing, if I wouldn't have known, I'd have just sat there and been like, I can't talk at all.
Do you remember that? Or like, do you ever remember those? No, I can't say it because it's talking about a show.
Let's play guess again.
Yeah. Well, it was put this way. It was, remember that skit with Chris Farley where he's with the famous people interviewing him?
Yeah.
He's so starstruck. He's like, you remember that time when you did that thing?
You did one with Paul McCartney. Remember when you were with the Beatles?
Oh yeah.
How was that? That was cool.
And what about you? What was you've been the most starstruck?
The one that I think I got the most starstruck on. See, because I do listen to them. I think the one that got me the most was Riel Andrews. He plays Marcus Taggart. And because we had been talking about, he was on in the 90s and he had been gone for so long. And he just came back, like kind of out of nowhere. And then he's one that we just kind of shot in the direct message. And we were talking to him that weekend. And so it was like very quick. There was not really any time to process. It was also less than 6 months into us doing the show. So like it was still very new. And he was getting his driver's license renewed, you know? Yeah. So like, I mean, we were just like, we were along for the ride and then we had to hang up and then we had to do like a part 2 and everything. And I was just like, what is happening right now? Like, this is so cool. Yeah. But I think I definitely fangirled him and Vincent Irizarry because I didn't watch All My Children, but then I watched it to get caught up on Anna Devane's character. And I was just like, he's amazing. And being able to talk to him and everything, I think those were probably my 2 that I got the most fangirlish with. Mm-hmm. Would you say so?
I would say so. Yeah. I would say if we ever get to talk to Valentine, she's not going to talk the whole time. So
I'm going to be done.
Do you guys have like a little, like I can see you from here up. Do you have little signals to give yourself, like if one of them's fangirling a little too much, you just squeeze the hand? Hey, calm down, breathe.
No.
We just let it go. Like you just get up.
No, we're genuine.
Just let it go.
We're just sitting on my couch.
Yeah.
We spend Sundays on my couch recording.
We'll make fun of each other afterwards, and I'll be you could have stopped that conversation like 10 minutes earlier if you wouldn't have kept.
Was that a hint?
Right?
No. I'm just curious because you're talking about like how you're gushing, and I was like, I wonder, or it's like, that's what sometimes having a wife or a husband or whatever is good, where when the person knows their partner or even a brother or whatever, when they go, I know they're starting to reach, they're starting to go a little too much like that, and it's sometimes just like that little, where you have to grab the hand or the Carl.
Yeah.
You go, oh, I'm doing my thing. Yeah, you're doing your thing.
No, like I knew for sure that hers was going to be Carrie Shane. Like there was no doubt about that. I knew that that's what yours was going to be. I just feel like every single time we're able to talk to anyone, it's just, it's so cool because
you'll hear us gush if you listen to this interview because we do like a intro, outro, and we're always like, they were just so nice. They were so nice. I can't believe how nice they were because it finally hits us like we just talked to someone that we watched on our show. And
so Lydia looked for 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
On a Thursday night. And she was, we had a 13-hour time difference.
Yeah.
That's insane to me.
Right.
But, it was fun. It was crazy.
It's just like an honor that you would take the time out of your day to talk to us and that we can just talk about this. You know what I mean? It's not a scripted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we did have some questions.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Just fire away.
No. What were you going to say? I just cut you off. I'm sorry.
No, I was just like, I just think it's really great that you guys, have decided to do this and have continued to do it for 4.5 years. And I just want to, really acknowledge you guys for doing that because so many people just talk a game or say, they go, oh, I want to do this or, oh, this, and they don't actually do it. So I really want to acknowledge both of you for having the courage of doing that and following through, and the fact that you've been doing it for so long. I mean, that's just for 4.5 years. I think that's just great. I think that's
She thought we were going to be 6 months and done.
Yeah.
Really?
I do not listen to podcasts. I just like, it's not one of those things that I'm into. So yeah, whenever she mentioned it, I was like, okay, I'll sit down with you and we can talk about it. No one's going to listen to us. We're just sitting here talking about GH and arguing with each other about why she's wrong for liking this character or not. No one cares. And like the messages started coming in, pretty quickly of, oh my gosh, you guys are so funny. I hate this character too. Or I agree with the Shannon because Amanda shouldn't think this or whatever, blah, blah, blah. And it was like, wow, people are actually listening to us. This is crazy.
Yeah.
So, but all the credit does go to Shannon because she's the one that pushed. If it would have been me, like I said, I had no idea I still don't know how to do a podcast. So I had no idea how to do a podcast and it would have never actually happened. But she was just kind of like, yes, show up here on this day and we're going to do it. And so I keep showing up every week because she tells me that we are.
That's great. Well, it reminds me of that thing that someone said is like, nobody knows what they're doing, right. But they just go out and do it anyway. And so it's okay. You might not know what you're doing, but you just go and do it anyway, So good on you. Good on you guys. Good on you. And then maybe that's a thing. Maybe that's, I would like to, I just have this thought of maybe as the months go by, maybe there's a segment where you go, I have someone new on my top 5 hate. So-and-so has moved out. This is the new person. It has reshuffled.
We should. That's a good idea.
MySpace, but like the characters on
MySpace. Your top 5 friends.
Add to website. Current rankings.
That's funny.
Current rankings.
And that's Darin's idea.
Yeah.
I like that.
If that ever happens, before we begin, I have a new top 5 hates. Mason is out since he died of diabetes. He said, one of those lollipops. That would be hysterical if they put that in the show. Mason died of diabetes. That would be hysterical. Oh my God. But yeah, kudos on you. Kudos on you guys for doing that.
Thank you.
So one of the questions I had was on your Instagram, it says actor, uncle, swashbuckler. Can you explain that? Because that's how I wound up going through all of your Instagram. I'm like, where's this swashbuckling? What are we doing?
Swashbuckler is like a very like romanticized, outlandish adventurer, and I love because I love traveling, and so it's just instead of like traveler, I want to say something cool like swashbuckling.
I like it.
And so I say that's where I swashbuckle, and I used to do these. I took them down. I'm thinking about. I had them on YouTube for a little bit. I'm thinking about posting them. But I used to do these travel videos where wherever I would go to, I would just make these videos. And then I actually got some interest from like the Marriott of doing videos for them. And then I got some reach outs from like producers from E! And I had a meeting about turning the show into something for E! And a lot of things in Hollywood, what happens is you hear this, it's not an if, it's a win, you know what I mean? And then it kind of fizzles out. But yeah, I used to do these. Actually, I think there's still one up on Instagram. You saw the one where I'm at the Denver Broncos game? Did you watch that one?
I didn't watch all of them. I was looking more for like Wesley from The Princess Bride.
Yeah. I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying.
Sword fighting somewhere here.
Yeah. So it's like I look up the meaning. So we look up the exact meaning. Let's get the exact meaning.
I like him so much.
To the library.
I Google everything on the show, and she's like, she's Googling
all the time. Google is her best friend. Well, then she gets mad because she's like, did you read this already? And I'm like, no, because you're going to Google it. I don't have to look it up ahead of time.
Here's the definition. A person who engages in daring and romantic adventures with bravado or flamboyance.
I like it.
So adventurer. I think swashbuckler was better than just saying adventurer.
Yeah, I like it too. Yeah, because everyone says adventurer. Not everybody says swashbuckler.
Yeah,
I like it.
Like I got a bucket list of hitting all 50 states and setting foot on all 7 continents, and I'm at like 44 or 45 right now, and And then like this coming June, I'm planning to hit up the Netherlands and Belgium. Have you guys ever been?
No.
Have you guys ever been across the pond?
No.
Oh,
I need to.
you need to get into some swashbuckling.
Yeah. My husband is going to love after this podcast. I'm going to be like, Snow, we have to go swashbuckling. So like, what are we doing now?
What the hell is swashbuckling?
Right.
Let's look it up. Yeah. To the library. Funny you said that. We just got the definition. No, it's fun. It's fun to go travel. And the fact that I'm sure it's tough having a family and kids and whatnot, but it's just ever since I was a kid, we would my dad would try to save enough or make enough to make sure we had to go on trips. And so ever since I was a kid, and plus I moved around a lot as a kid too. And so maybe that was another thing of just going to all these different places. Like my youngest brother, he's lived in Allentown his whole life. And that makes me I go, wow, that's fascinating that you just lived in one place the whole time, Like, have you guys lived in Pittsburgh the whole time or have you moved around?
I've moved over 20 times.
Get out of here. Really?
Yeah. 20
times?
Yeah. But then my husband basically came home from the hospital in the house that he grew up in. And I'm the same as you, where I'm like, you mean you didn't switch bedrooms? You didn't, you didn't have to go to, I went to 4 elementary schools before I was in 3rd grade.
Wow.
But then I stayed put, but then we moved like 5 times while I was in
the same school.
Yeah. So
do you have a favorite place that you lived in?
So most of it has been around here. I was born in Virginia and moved at 8 days old.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, probably Boston. My mom's from Boston, and I started college up there, and then I came back. So they call Pittsburgh the boomerang city because everyone leaves and then comes back.
Really?
Yeah, not everyone leaves, but like a lot of people who leave wind up coming back, which is actually very true because I'm in real estate, and I have a lot of people that I graduated from school with coming back, and they're like, "Hey, can you help us find a house?" I'm like, "Sure," but like they've moved all over the place and they're coming back.
That's how I ended up here. My mom's from Pittsburgh. I was born in Ohio, and then I was born in Ohio, lived there, and then we moved here for a little bit. Then we moved back to Ohio. Then we moved to South Carolina, and then we moved back here. And I've been here since then. But my mom and my dad were both from here, so that was how we ended up back here.
Now I have a question for you. Since you said you from Ohio, Kings Island or Cedar Point? For those listeners who are not aware of Ohio and Kings Island, Kings Island and Cedar Point are amusement parks. Cedar Point is considered the roller coaster capital of the world.
Yeah.
I wonder if it's still considered is it still considered the roller coaster capital of the world?
I think that it is, but if it's not, they're building a new one that opens up next year that is like the tallest, fastest ever. And so they'll get their title back if not.
Oh, okay. So and then Kings Island is the home of the Beast.
Yes. So
world famous beast.
I have not been to Kings Island since I was like little, so I cannot make an accurate comparison. Back in the day, I would have said Kings Island because that was like our go-to. Like in Pittsburgh, we have Kennywood. Like Kings Island was where we go. Yeah. But I just recently went to Cedar Point this summer, and so that's like on the top of my list because we had a great time.
Oh, I don't think I can ride roller coasters anymore. I just was at Dorney Park.
Oh, yeah.
I used to work at Dorney Park in high school. I worked there for a summer. Absolutely. And so it was great going back. I think that's the first time I went back in years. And we were riding roller coasters. And I was like, I don't feel very good.
Yeah.
And I was like, am I getting at that age where I can't do this anymore? I can't. I'm just too old. But man, they're so much fun, though. They're so much fun. Mm-hmm. But I just remember I went to Cedar Point, and it was the Millennium Force.
Okay.
And it was at the time, it was the tallest roller coaster in the world. It was like this 310-foot drop at like this, I think it was like this 87-degree angle. So the track looked concave instead of convex. And I was looking at that going, oh, are you kidding me? I've never seen a roller coaster look like that. It was always like that, but not like this concave hill. And when we got in the car, all they had was the bar that goes across your waist. I was like, where's the thing? Where's the chest strap? They're like, there's no chest. I'm like, did you see that hill? How do you not have the what is this? Yes. So I was freaking out about that and just holding on to dear life of we're just going down that 310-foot drop. But oh man, roller coasters are so much fun. They're so much fun. I used to go to Kings Island a lot as a kid because my mom had relatives in Cleveland.
Oh, okay.
We'd never go to Cleveland because we lived in Indianapolis I lived in Indianapolis for like 9 years. And on the way to Cleveland, we'd kind of go, go down a little bit and then go up to Cleveland and go to Kings Island. And the Beast is just so much fun. Those wooden roller coasters are rough. They just they just slap you around. Take that. As opposed to the metal ones are just nice and smooth, But yeah. So that's great that you guys have moved around, or you said you moved around 20 times. That's fantastic.
Yeah, you're crazy.
Most of it's been in Pittsburgh though. So it's like I don't see leaving here anytime soon.
Yeah.
But yeah.
It's like I said, that's a gorgeous town. That is a gorgeous town.
Mm-hmm. So what are the 6 states that you have not visited yet?
Idaho, Montana, Minnesota. Wait, get count. Oregon, Idaho, Montana, North Dakota, Minnesota, and Maine.
Okay.
I've got those 6 left. And Oregon has been a tough one because I've had plans to go up there like 3 or 4 years in a row. But the friend I was going to go see, he got a gig and then he had a baby and then COVID happened and then he got another gig. So Oregon just keeps dodging me. It keeps dodging me. But I'm going to get it down once. I'm going to get it down once. I'm going to get that one down. But, that's the one thing is this country's got a lot of problems, but my God, is it gorgeous. It is gorgeous. Of just being up in and it's so different in so many places. I mean, it is absolutely gorgeous. I mean, have you ever been up to Washington State? Have you been up there at all?
I've never been to Washington State, no, but I would love to go to the Pacific Northwest because I love the idea of having like water in front and the forest behind you. Like that's my dream.
Yeah. I just recently went on this Alaska cruise, and Alaska was that place was just amazing. Just absolutely gorgeous. And, and there was this one part of the cruise where this guy said, be sure to look out the starboard side of the boat because I consider this I think that's one of the things I notice captains do, like on a plane, they say a lot. We are traveling around about 50,000 feet and we're about to turn on the seatbelts. And that's how they do that. They like the Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't think nobody's flying at 50,000 feet. I think it might have added 20,000 feet on
There's 50,000 again. Jeez,
great number.
50,000.
It came full circle.
Full circle. But yeah, it was just. He's like the most. He goes, I think this is the most beautiful sail in the world. And it was. I had a balcony, and I pulled my mattress onto the balcony and kind of just lay there with all these layers and layers of blankets because it was, even though it was June, it was still cold out. And man, just these mountains and these glaciers and this forest. And because it's so high north and it's the summer, I think it was, summer. I think we were around like June 20th or June 21st. So it was the longest day of the year. And man, the sun just hung behind those mountains. And it was just, it was gorgeous. It was gorgeous. I felt like Tom Hanks and Forrest Gump doing all those runs, and it's like, and everyone just look where I look. It was beautiful, Jenny. It was just beautiful. And I had like that Forrest Gump moment where I'm just looking at it and I go, it's so beautiful. But yeah, just even the southeast, places in the southeast, or I was just in South Dakota, and it's funny when you say it, but Northwest South Dakota is gorgeous. Like the Black Hills National Forest and where that Mount Rushmore is just absolutely gorgeous. And then just an hour and 15 minutes out of that are the Badlands. And the Badlands are just amazing because there's these sediment rock formations that are all different colors, and it's just engulfed into the ground, and it's surrounded by these green prairies. And to see those kind of rock formations in the green prairies, just the dichotomy of that was gorgeous, as opposed to in Arizona with the painted desert, you kind of have the same kind of rock formations, but it's in a desert, so it doesn't say, oh yeah, I could see how these would be here, as opposed to the Badlands. It's like, wow, this is just came out of nowhere. And again, it's just gorgeous. It's gorgeous. It's gorgeous.
That's awesome. I love traveling.
Yeah. I'm working on my points. But yeah, do you have a dream spot?
Yeah, but I probably have like a top 10.
We only do top 5. We only do top 5.
Here, you go through yours. And I'll give mine.
Do top 5.
I don't.
Okay, number 5 is Gary, Indiana.
No, but I don't have like you have reasons and like specifics of blah, blah, blah. Mine is just whatever. I want to go to Paris because my mom lived in Paris. My mom and dad lived in Paris whenever they first got married. So I just want to like, obviously it's Paris, but on top of that, I want to explore the fact that they were there and whatever. And then Ireland, because, you know, I'm a little bit Irish. So it would be
I was about to say, you got to go to the motherland. That's the ball.
To check that out.
Absolutely.
But I think that that's like my top 2, but I would go anywhere. Like, there's nowhere that I would say no to. It's a matter of time and money holding me back, but I would love to just go explore everything. That money thing. I just need to win that Powerball.
Stupid money thing. Exactly. You know that, and that's the thing. Those are 2 things that are doable in the same trip. Like if you fly into London and you do, or you fly into Paris and you do Paris, and Paris is great. And that's what killed me about Paris was when I was there. I'm at McDonald's and I look at the menu and I go, that's beer. That's beer, and you can get a beer at McDonald's. And they're like, yeah. I was with my girlfriend at the time. I'm like, baby, we're getting drunk at McDonald's tonight. Just because I was like, I could say I got drunk at McDonald's. So we had like 3 or 4 beers at McDonald's just because
why not
get beer at McDonald's out here. So I thought that was so funny. But then taking the channel up to London and then taking the train and going to Ireland. And if because I did that on the same trip. I did Ireland with my brother, and then I went down to Paris to meet my girlfriend in Paris. And Ireland is just gorgeous. We just did a road trip. And we just, because Craig, my brother and I both lived in cities at the time, Chicago at the time, and him, Oakland. And we were thinking about doing Dublin. And then everybody, I was doing this theater show in London. It was at Steppenwolf in Chicago. And they took it to London for 2 weeks. And United Airlines flew us out there, and they said, you have an open-ended ticket for a month. Like after the show is over, you don't have to come right back. You can stay for a while.
Wow.
And everybody in the show, I was telling I wanted to go to Ireland, and everybody said, do the west coast of Ireland. If you only have a week, do the west coast. And that's where like the Cliffs of Moher, which I think the Cliffs of Moher are the Cliffs of Insanity, if you know which movie I'm talking about. Yes? The Cliffs of Insanity?
Amanda is great with movies.
No.
Is that The Princess Bride?
Yes, you said it, not me. All right, so
I've seen that one.
Yes,
Let's go.
The Cliffs of Insanity. I'm pretty sure the Cliffs of Insanity are the Cliffs of Moher. I'm pretty sure. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure. And then the Ring of Kerry. So when you go, get in a car and road trip it, because just stopping off at all these little towns along the way was just so much fun. And that is a beautiful country. And I would say you absolutely have to do that. And then this Paris, compared to that, is just completely different.
Right.
Because you can get drunk at McDonald's in Paris. And in Ireland, you can just get drunk anywhere. You know what I mean?
Right.
But that's just great. You go into a pub. That's what's so fun about Ireland. You go into a pub, and we were drinking with one guy's name is Pat Morrissey, like the singer, but his name is Pat Morrissey. And then all of a sudden, his kids come in, and then his kids' come in, and then his wife comes in, and then his sister comes in, and then his mom comes in. And so I'm drinking with this whole, 4 generations of this family. It was just crazy. And every other word was a curse word. It was just, they're just such fun people. They're such fun people. So I would say I'm looking forward. I hope you take that trip.
I got to get it together, put it on the bucket list.
There you go.
Yeah. And what about you?
Did you 50? I have a 50 before 50 list. So
here we go.
So Paris, because I took French for a really long time, and I've just always wanted to visit there. Also Ireland. I don't have the red hair, but I'm 87.5% Irish, and then 10% Scottish, and 3% whatever the heck else is in there.
Do you guys ever go see Gaelic Storm when they're in Pittsburgh?
No, but we have an Irish festival every year.
I'm sure Gaelic
Actually,
Storm.
it's this time of year. It's going on right now.
Yeah.
Because it's always...
Really?
Yeah.
they might play. They're a great Irish band, great Irish band. And they were basic. I can't say that they were in a movie, and that's what they're kind of known for. And I stumbled upon them at an Irish festival out here, and fell in love with them because there's so much. They're really funny, and the music they play is very kind of. It's not like you go, Danny, go. It's not that music. It's really kind of uplifting, happy music.
Okay.
Kind of are reels and jams. You know what I mean? And they're not like flogging Molly. It's kind of that rock kind of, and that's that. But it's just such a fun band, and they play out in the East Coast a lot because Irish music is a lot more popular out there than it is out here in California, even though they're from here. But keep an eye out. Gaelic Storm, keep an eye out.
Okay. I would say my number one is definitely England. I have to walk across Abbey Road at some point in my life.
Yeah.
That's a must.
Yeah. And go to Apple.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Penny Lane and Strawberry Fields and all those places. Yeah.
Do they have, do they have like a Beatles tour when you come out?
I would imagine they should have to.
Because if you go to New Zealand, they do this thing in like New Zealand called Running with the Orc, where you do like run trails that the orc ran in like,
my gosh,
the rings, something like that. Yeah. And so I'm sure they have some sort of Beatles tour there.
Yeah, they would have to.
They would have to. Not for nothing. England would be stupid if they don't.
Right.
And then Australia. And then my family we have that passbook for the national parks. So I would love to fill that up as much as possible.
Oh, yeah. So
that's
do you have like a national park that you like, that's the one I want to go to?
I don't know. I feel like I'm more, I don't know. I'm such a nature person. So it's kind of like, so I just went to the Grand Canyon for the first time in March.
Oh, yeah?
And it was because my company had a convention in Vegas. And the friends that I went with, they were like, we can go to the Grand Canyon on Saturday. I was like, okay, I've never been there. Let's go. I just started crying because of how breathtaking it was, to the point where my family and I just took a trip to Vegas on Labor Day weekend because I was like, you guys have to go. You have to go. And like, we had a great time. And like, I introduced them to the Grand Canyon, but I cried in March. And I don't think like they got that emotional whenever they saw it. And so like, that's obviously always the one on the bucket list. Like, yeah, you want to go see the Grand Canyon, but like, I had no idea how much it would impact me when I did it. So it's kind of like Zion National Park, you know.
Zion's great.
Oh, like that's one that I have to get to, but then I'm sure that there's going to be one on there that's like, okay, yeah, it's listed as a national park, but I don't really know about it. And it's probably going to be amazing.
There's a hike in Zion. What's it called? I can't remember what it's called, but it was one of the most, what's it called? It's famous for it. I don't know what that sound was that just came out of it. But it's the alleys. It's like the alleys or it doesn't matter. But I've never been on a hike like that before because you go into this, I guess, ravine or something, and you're just surrounded by these tall rocks, and you're walking through this thing. And sometimes you're up to your ankles in water, up to your knees in water, and at certain points you're up to your chest in water. And it is like it's a 7 mile out and then 7 mile back, and I think we made it like 5 miles or something. And it's just unbelievable again because you're just maybe 6-7 stories of rock on this side, 6 or 7 stories of rock on that side, and just walking through this kind of ravine and just up and down, and it's just incredible. But they said, bring a hiking stick, and I'm glad some people had 2 poles, but I had 1, and thank God I did because you so needed that for the support and whatnot. But at the end of just hiking in ankle deep to chest deep water for 2 hours or something like that was just so much fun, and like nothing I'd ever done before. But yeah, that's the thing is, like, have you ever been to Harper's Ferry?
So I haven't, but my husband used to do Civil War reenacting, and he used to go down there all the time.
Get out of here.
Yeah. And he said it's like, that's on one of the places that like, he is very adamant that we have to go to because I've never been there. And it's
just a day, all you need is a day there, like go there and then spend the night and then leave, or maybe even just an afternoon, because it's like the lowest point in West Virginia, supposedly. And it's right where the Shenandoah and the Potomac meet. And it's right where the Appalachian Trail goes right by there too. And it's just like the 1700s town. And especially in like November, late October. Oh my, with the leaves all changing color.
Yes.
It is absolutely gorgeous. And just again, the whole thing where you can do this hike and go all the way up this mountain and then look down on the town and the river and the whole valley, I guess you would say. And it's just like, I went there and someone went, oh, you just need a couple hours there. And I was so blown away by the 1700s town. Mm-hmm. I'm like, man, so this is that. And then it's
to the point where like you actually can't have a car on some of the streets.
Yeah,
like that's like that's how historically preserved.
Yeah.
Some of it is.
And I go into this bookshop and I saw this view of the town. I'm like, where's that? Mm-hmm. Like, that's on top of the hike up there. And I'm like, looking at my watch. I go, how much time does it take to get to the top? I'm like, well, maybe like depending on how good of a hiker you are, maybe 45 minutes, hour. But then it also will depend on how long you want to stay up there.
Right.
And I was like, oh, because I was like, I didn't have the time to do it. I was like, oh, but I had intentions of just going back, because I was going up to Philly to see my brothers. And because I was shooting something in Virginia, and that's why I did that, because I hadn't been to West Virginia yet. And I wanted to see that, get on that point so bad that I made it. I'm like, I cut off a day from going down to see another friend to go back to Harper's Ferry just so I can climb up that thing and sit up there and look at the view. And I stayed up there. For like an hour and a half because it had receptions. I'm like, that's a great time to make some phone calls on top of this mountain, looking out over this historic area. It's gorgeous. Gorgeous. And it's not that far from you guys, right?
I just Googled it. It's 3.5 hours. Yeah, that's not bad.
Oh, yeah. Oh.
I mean, we go out to Gettysburg all the time. So like that's the same distance.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. And then, if you're baseball fans, you can go to, I think the Orioles stadium's only like an hour away from that or something like that, or hour 15.
Make a whole weekend out of it.
Taking the game. Yeah, taking the game.
Exactly. I would love to see all the ballparks. It's kind of like I've been to the Coliseum out in Oakland, but like now they're going to Vegas. And
Ew. It's like the worst fun.
Like, who's gonna go see a baseball game on the Strip? I'm sorry.
No, well, because my brother's one of my brothers lives up in Oakland, and he loves the A's, and he goes to the state, and he loves it because it's like that old timey stadium.
Yes,
but it's bad because here's the deal: that the Phillies used to play at the Vet, and the Vet was just a terrible stadium. And since he grew up going to the Phillies there as when we were kids, that's why he kind of likes the Oakland ballpark. Yeah, it kind of reminds him of that. But one of his bucket list things is to hit all 30 stadiums, and I've done like half of them with him. But I tell you, his favorite is Pittsburgh.
Well, when you guys come in next time, let us know. Like,
absolutely,
we'll go hang out and see a game.
Go hang out. Yeah, go to what's the sandwich place called again?
Permanis.
Wait, isn't there another one that's like Permanis that's really famous though too? Another sandwich place or no?
Not sandwiches, but Eaton Park. Like that's our
Eaton Park.
It's like a family restaurant. It's kind of like Denny's-ish, but better.
Yeah. Well, I know they film some stuff in Pittsburgh, so if I'm ever filming anything in Pittsburgh, I'll absolutely let you guys know.
We get a lot in Pittsburgh. Yeah.
Yeah, you do. I'm shocked. Like I went to Atlanta for a year to shoot a bunch of stuff. I lived out there for like 11 months. And that town's very pretty too. And a lot of stuff was shooting in Pittsburgh, but I think I've only auditioned for like one thing that's out there in Pittsburgh. But I kind of want to, I want an excuse to go back to Pittsburgh so I could go back to Pirate Stadium because again, that PNC Park is gorgeous. It's gorgeous. Now I've got two reasons.
Yeah, exactly. And we can combine them.
Exactly.
We'll do a little tour. We'll do we'll go to dinner and we'll go to a Pirate game and we'll talk GH because I don't think Dr. Montague's done yet. Mm-mm. I know you can't say anything. We don't do spoilers, but I mean, as of right now, he's just been drugged or not drugged. But
he has to be connected to someone that's worse than he is. There has to be a connection there. I'm not convinced with this $50,000 that's all there is.
Right.
I think that's just some like side money that he's picking up because he's working for Cyrus or something.
It's covering the cost of his pills. He is buying.
Exactly.
Yes.
Someone's got to pay for these pills for Sasha. Yeah, that would be, I tell you, it would be great to stay as long as I could on that show because again, you said I promised I wasn't going to cry. I promise I'm not going to cry. Is those people working on that show are just there's something special. They're really something special. Like, put it this way, you have picked a wonderful, wonderful show as far as the people are concerned to be fans of, because, you know, everybody on there, everybody I've met, like Carolyn Hennessy, I only did one scene with her, but talking to her, oh my God, she is a character.
Yeah.
She's got this. I just see Carolyn as like someone who should always have like this dry martini in their hand the whole time, right? Because she is so, and she's just oozes confidence and grace, like grace and confidence. And she is just a character. And I've said nice things about Josh and Sophia. And the other one is like Evan, the guy who plays Dex, right? Evan is Dex. For a 27-year-old, he is, I was talking to him, and he has this like genuine curiosity about people. You know, he was asking me these genuine questions. I was like, wow, this guy really wants to get to know me. And I found that so sweet and so nice. And he's really funny too. And just a hoot. And I asked him once, I go, is your hair always that perfect? And he starts laughing, because I guess the woman who plays, I can't remember their name. I haven't met her. The blonde girl he's on the show with. Yeah.
Ada McCoy.
He goes, Darin, stay right here. He got her. He goes, Darin, say what you said to me. Say what you said to me. Say what you said to me. I said, this is your hair always that perfect, because she I guess she said the same thing to him too. But he's there. Like, again, I haven't met anybody. I didn't meet everybody, but everybody I've met, it just has been incredibly nice. John York, right? John York.
Yeah.
He plays Mac, I think. Yeah, Mac.
Yeah.
He's just super nice. Dante or Dominic, he's just he's got jokes and just joking all the time. So your fans are really good people. Your fans are really good people.
I like to hear that.
Yeah.
Well, we've been talking for almost 2 hours, and
oh my God,
I know. I just looked down too.
Whoa.
So this is probably going to be a two-parter. I'm
That's
probably
okay.
going to cut it somewhere.
Yeah.
Usually we ask people if they have anything coming up, but I know that you're not able to really share anything like that. But would you like to share your social media platforms? That way people can follow you.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Darin Toonder, my name on Instagram. I'm not really on Twitter that much. But yeah, that's where I usually post things, and you know, the fans seem to be grateful for the fact that I do that. They're like, the fact that you were posting and you actually engage with us, and I go, oh, it's so much fun, you know. And so if anybody wants to follow me, you know, that's what
you're fun to follow. You are.
Oh, I appreciate that. Yeah, it's been fun. It's been really fun, and it's been fun. I'll have some more fun posts too, I think. Like, it's Thirsty Thursday, let's do shots. Let me tell you something. I was like, hey, is this okay if I post this? Because I asked like someone in social media department. And I'm like, I don't want to try to, like, I'm not trying to make fun of the show, but I also want to have fun with my posts. Right. Like, oh, that's hysterical. Yeah, go ahead and post it. I'm like, okay, good. I just want to make sure. Because I didn't want anybody to see that post like, he's not taking the show seriously. You know what I mean? I was like, but it's funny. So
if you listen to half the sentences that we have to say about the show, like, how can you really take it that seriously? You know, there's certain storylines, yes, we take way more seriously than others, but yes. Thirsty Thursday, let's do shots. I like it.
Thirsty Thursday, let's do shots. Well, hey, ladies, thank you so much. I really appreciate you engaging in the fact that you offered this, and I had a blast. I can't believe it's been 2 hours. It felt like it flew by.
It did.
That's crazy. And it's just in time so I can see my afternoon football game.
Perfect.
Although my Broncos, I think, are losing right now. But it's been a pleasure. And again, like I said before, I really want to acknowledge you for creating this and doing it for so long. I think that's great what you're doing.
Yeah. Thanks for your time today, and go enjoy your football game. And when you're in Pittsburgh, let us know. We'll be there.
Done and done. All
right. Bye.
I seriously could have just sat here and talked to him all day.
He was so easy to just talk about anything. We're laughing about this. We're talking about that. He's been here with his old girlfriends, and then he's going here, and we should do this. Okay, let's do it. Let's go.
Right. Let's start a travel agency.
That's right.
Now we're just going to do that now.
I'm ready.
I just like,
I
We say it every single time, but like it is so much fun just talking to the person and not doing. Love the interviews that we read, but I love the fact that who knew that we were going to wind up talking about the top 5. I love when they ask us questions and totally throw us off.
Right. Yeah, we're not ready, and we're like, hold on, my brain wasn't there yet. We were supposed to be interviewing you.
Right, exactly.
So. Yeah, it's wonderful just to talk to them as just a normal person, and then to hear on top of that, I mean, he was gushing about how great all of the other GH actors and actresses are, and it's like, yes, see, I knew I would love them in real life too. So I just love that. They're all a big happy family. I want to be part of their happy family.
Hint, 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 hint. When everything is over, we're still available. No, but it was, and seriously, do follow him on social media. It's delightful. And I love that he's embracing the fact that he knows that Dr. Montague is
such a jerk. I think I said it like 10 times.
Like I said, if you can get your mom to hate you, though, you got his mom to hate him.
Yeah.
Skills.
Poor mom to have to call him and be like, you are not a nice boy.
By the way, I don't like you. Thanks, Mom.
Right.
I met your character, but no. So, I mean, hopefully... this could not have been the end. So this is September 24th. We have no idea. Well, this second part will be released October 5th. So perhaps in the meantime, Dr. Montague has been back on. We don't know. If he hasn't, there's no way that the end of him is...
I don't think so.
No. We need to see him and Gladys in court together.
Right, because we still have to discover the fact that Cody took her for good reason and then play on all of that.
It'll be like a gaslighting face-off.
Yes.
Interesting.
Okay.
So join us on Monday as we recap this week's shows.
Have a good weekend.
And we'll meet you at the pier.
Bye.
Bye.
If you enjoyed today's show, we invite you to go to pier54podcast.com to subscribe on your favorite platform. Don't forget to leave us a review.
And you can also follow us on many social media channels. Just search for Pier 54 Podcast. Also, we are not perfect, so if there is something that we missed or messed up, just let us know by emailing us at pier54podcast@gmail.com.